Hello, everyone. Welcome to Buy Bags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Horror Heaven77. And I'm back with another British horror comedy again. Haven't done one of these in a little bit, but yeah, wanted to get back on there. So, the one that I want to talk about is a movie from 2015. And like I said, British horror comedy. And the one I'm talking about is called Crying Wolf. And I really have a lot of fun with this movie, although it does have some flaws to it. I'll get into that. The movie is, basically it kind of jumps a little bit back and forth. In the beginning of the movie, we have a small part played by Caroline Munro, who, is always a welcome sight to see Caroline Munro in any movie, pretty much, no matter what it is. And she plays a book dealer. And this one guy, he comes in, he's looking at all the books that she has. And he comes across this big, huge book called Crying Wolf. And he's very obsessed with this book and he really wants to buy it. So he goes up to her and he's like, how much do you want for this book? And she's trying to tell him it's not for sale and all this other kind of stuff. And he's just, no, it's like, the book should be for sale. You have it, you sell books, you have it on your shelf and everything else. If you didn't want to sell this book, you never should have had it out. Tell me, So they're arguing, they're haggling over what they're gonna, what he's gonna do about buying the book. Well, finally, he manages to get the book, and he goes to the nearest pub, sits down, he orders a pint, and he starts, as he's drinking his pint, he starts reading the book. Well, we come to find out that in this book, in the town of Deddington, where they're at, so many weird, unexplainable things have been going on, and one of the things that's most prominent is there's been a number of deaths that look like they've been done by wild animals, particularly something that looks like it was done by a wolf. So as he reads the book, he comes across this story of this woman named Millie, who is a werewolf, and she bites this guy named Andy, turning him into a werewolf. Well, this guy Andy, it turns out that he's been pretty much him and his friends. They know him as he's a prankster. He's a well-known jokester. He's always pulling pranks, and he's crying wolf a lot. You know, they even say that. So there you go, title drop. So at one night, he and his girl, Andy and his girlfriend, they're walking, and Millie is a vampire. Yeah, get it straight, dude. Millie is a werewolf, attacks them, kills his girlfriend, and bites him to become a werewolf. And we find out that the reason why is because Millie is very, very obsessed with Andy. She's very much in love with him. She really wants to, she wants total control over him. She wants him to be at her beck and call at all times. So Andy, he goes, to the pub where his other friends are hanging out. And, he's trying to explain, even though he's got the scratches on him, he's covered in blood. He's trying to explain to them that, he was attacked by a werewolf. Nobody believes him. Everybody thinks it's just him, pulling another one of his stupid pranks. And, oh, brother, yeah, Andy, whatever, and all this. And ultimately, he does transform into a werewolf. And he ends up attacking his friends and scratching them, biting them. And then they become werewolves as well. Okay, so now a short time later, they're all getting to the entire group of these werewolves. They're getting together, and they're going to go out on this hunting trip. And the idea is that Millie, she wants to get everybody to hunt as werewolves, have their first kill, and it would make them all basically work together as one really good, strong pack of werewolves. And then this way, Millie could also, she will show them how to hunt, where to hunt, when to hunt, and get them the best victims, the best kills, and everything else. And this would ultimately make them kind of her slaves, kind of make them do her bidding. And so they decide they're going to go out to the woods. They're going to do this camping trip and things. And they hire these two guys to, with a bus, well, like a tour bus, kind of. But what they don't know is, unbeknownst to them, is that the two guys running the tour bus, well, one of the guys actually was a former victim of Andy and his team of werewolves named Charlie. And Charlie, he was a photographer and he worked with a news reporter. And at one point, they go into this pub where Andy and all of his werewolf buddies and girls and all that, they're all hanging out. And so, he goes in, he's asking questions. Do they know anything about the murders that are happening? Do they think it's wolves? Do they think it's something else? What's going on here? And ultimately, they all morph into werewolves and they attack, you know, Charlie gets away, you know, but his reporter friend, he's not so lucky. He gets pretty much just torn apart. But Charlie gets away. He spends some time in a mental institution, but he manages to escape. And when he escapes, he's filled with this sense of the one thing he wants to do more than anything, he wants to get revenge. Revenge for his friend who was killed. And basically, he wants to kill all these werewolves to just keep everybody safe and no more problems. So what he ends up doing is he hires this guy named Ricky Hellsong. And they even make a joke. There's a lot of humor in this movie. This movie is very, very funny. At one point, they say, "Really, Hellsong?" He's like, "Well, the other name was taken." But this Ricky Hellsong, what he's known for is he's known for taking care of supernatural problems. He's known for killing werewolves, killing zombies, killing vampires, things like that. He's a ghost hunter. He does all this other kind of stuff. And Charlie knew him from years back, and they worked together on a paranormal ghost hunting expedition. And so he goes to Ricky and says, "I got a werewolf problem. I want to get revenge. Will you help me out?" And so, Ricky does decide he's going to go ahead and help him. And the idea is they're going to take him on this tour bus, lure them into the woods. They have all these weapons and ammunition and everything stockpiled up, and they're going to basically take all these werewolves out one by one so they don't kill anybody else. Well, turns out one of the werewolves, I think the character was named Emma. Her stepsister comes along and she, like, well, I just left my boyfriend and, I need to stay. Can I hang with you? I know you're going into the woods for a couple of days, but can I tag along? And at first, Emma's like, "No, I don't want you to be here. We got a really bad problem. It's not going to be wise for you to be there with us." And eventually she does tell her stepsister that they're werewolves and stuff like that, and not to mess with Millie because Millie is very vicious. She's very cruel, has no problems killing anybody, all this other kind of stuff. And then as they're heading out, they come across these two beautiful women who are two beautiful blondes, pretty much, who are stranded. And they decide, "Hey, why don't you girls just tag along with us? And we're going on a trip. We're going to see some sights, go camping and stuff. Why don't you come along with us?" And the two girls agree to go. And turns out that the girls are also pickpockets. So that's kind of why they really have no problems going with these people, because they figure, hey, there's a large group of people here. They probably got money. They probably got other things. We can rip them off and get away before we're ever caught. So they go out to the woods and, they're doing their camping thing, and there's, all kinds of things going on. There's, bickering between everybody. It turns out at one point, Andy and Emma were in a relationship, but, when Millie turned Andy into a vampire, or I keep saying vampire, don't I? Jesus, get it right, idiot. Anyway, so it turns Andy into a werewolf, and then he turns her into a werewolf. So now there's a lot of friction between the two of them. They're not getting along. And then basically, I'm not going to give away any more. Just say that now they're out there, they're in the woods, and, they're getting ready to turn into werewolves. The girls who are not werewolves, they're not safe. And basically now, Charlie and Ricky, they're going to get ready and, put together their plan to end these werewolves once and for all. So this movie, like I said, it's a lot of fun. It's very funny. It's got a lot of good humor in it. Some really good dark humor in it. You got some very pretty British ladies, some fine, fine British birds in this movie, and you do get some nudity if you like that kind of thing, and all this kind of stuff. And there are a lot of bloody, gory kills. And here's where my biggest problem with the movie is: the effects in this movie. There's very little practical effects. A lot of this, I believe, this movie was meant to be shown in 3D. So the digital effects in this movie do not work. They are really piss poor. They don't hold up. You'll notice it right away. It looks very cartoony. It looks very silly. The digital effects look completely out of place. There's a lot of CGI blood, which I know a lot of, you're a horror fan. That's one of the things that pisses you off worse than anything is digital blood and digital gore. But there is a lot of this in this movie. There is some practical effects. One thing that I will say, you could definitely tell there are shots with actors in werewolf costumes. And the problem is, too, is like when you see the actors in the werewolf costume, it could look, it had the potential to look really, really good. But here's the problem. The eyes look good. The effects work and everything was good on creating the suits and everything else. The only problem is they all have this same mouth expression. They all have this kind of same, like the cheek, upper lip kind of like pulls up, and they all have that same expression, and it doesn't change. So it's like there are moments you're going to notice that, but when you do get some physical gore, some physical blood and stuff like that in here, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty effective and everything. It works. But like I said, that's the downside of this whole thing is the majority of the effects in this movie are digital, and the digital effects do not hold up well at all. This movie is 5 years old, and the digital effects, I think even at the time this came out, the digital effects look, really, really poor, just lackluster. And 5 years later, it doesn't look any better. I'll be honest with you. But that being said, don't let that deter you away from this movie, though. It is a good movie. It's fun. It's, got some good, there are a couple of moments of some good, genuine suspense in it. There's, like I said, there's great humor, there's nudity, there's all that good fun stuff. You do get some practical blood and gore, so you do have that. But I would just say, yeah, just kind of, that's the one drawback to this movie, I would say. It's just that the digital effects really kind of bog this movie down. But you can get past that, you're going to have a fun time watching this movie. It's the humor, the acting, of course, British actors and actresses. So the acting is really, really good, top shelf acting. So you do get some good, you know, emotional range out of these people. But other than that, that's really about all I can say about it. I would say, you get, there are some fun fighting scenes between, Ricky and Charlie and the werewolves. So, there's that. You got that going for it. So I would definitely say, yeah, give this movie a shot. Not the best werewolf movie in the world, but still a lot of fun. If you like the werewolf movie mixed with humor in the vein of like American Werewolf in London, I think you're going to get a kick out of this. And I think that's kind of a fun, interesting idea for a werewolf movie, is that you have a group of werewolves who decide that they're going to go on holiday. And their whole point of going on holiday is they're going to have their first hunt and kill, and they're going to try to, basically form a bond as a pack of werewolves, and then they would continue on. So, but anyway, that's pretty much about all I got to say about it. I definitely say, yeah, give it a watch. It's fun, it's entertaining. So that's pretty much about it. So if anybody took the time to watch all this, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I also hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave it a like. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the Body Bags channel. There's a reviewer for every day of the week. I'm the Friday reviewer. We have different guys. Everybody's doing good stuff. And, more fun theme weeks coming up. We got label weeks coming up. So, check us out. Have fun. And everybody, take care. Have a good night. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.